League season, the Vegas Golden Knights have won the Stanley Cup.
And for the first time in 21 years, the WNBA has a back-to-back champion.
Welcome along to Las Vegas. Saturday night's all right for driving. Well, it is here tonight as F1 takes over the entire city and the Formula One circus comes to town.
Well, there's my call to action. I 100% believe that we can make that happen. We have to inject humanity into this and give a damn about every single one of those numbers, because every single one of those numbers represents a life.
Fusion Watch is a virtual crime fighting unit that develops and deploys advanced crime fighting technologies.
And we continue to use this technology to do things that we've never been able to do. We as a police department can go in there and have dramatic outcomes that are different than what it is that we've always had. Well, I know there's been many people who did not believe that the murder of Tupac Shakur was important to this police department. I'm here to tell you that was simply not the case.
Potential terror plot involving a 16-year-old stopped by Metro Police.
The suspect remains in custody, and Metro stating that they believe this is an isolated threat.
Police working yet another officer-involved shooting, this one just west of downtown.
We begin with breaking news. At least 2 people are dead after a chaotic chain of events in the Southwest Valley. That included several carjackings and an officer-involved shooting.
Man was stabbed to death after a scuffle on the streets. Metro Police say it happened during a fight near Main Street in Owens in downtown.
That is some breaking news out of Las Vegas, where police say 2 people have been killed. 3 others are hurt after a shooting. These are live pictures of the scene in East Las Vegas near that gas station about 9 miles north of the Strip.
We want to begin tonight with new developments in a shooting on a college campus just hours ago. We are just learning from law enforcement that multiple people were killed after a gunman opened fire inside the business school at the University of Nevada, Las Vegas.
Police hunting for a mass shooter on the move.
We have additional calls coming in that students hunkered down, they're afraid, they're scared. Our officers are going unit by unit, building by building, so making sure that we don't have any additional victims. And if it hadn't been for the heroic actions of one of those police officers who responded, there could have been countless additional lives taken. With the men and women of law enforcement, fire service, and EMS, watching how seamlessly they work together today, they'd be very, very proud to be their sheriff.
We are learning more information about the gunman who opened fire from the MGM Signature Towers on Harmon New Year's Eve morning.
You know, I policed this community for 30 years. I love this community. It means everything to me. And being able to provide a safe environment to our citizens and my family members and your family members and you, it sounds corny, but it really matters to me.
Ladies and gentlemen, please welcome up to the stage Sheriff Kevin McMahill.
Thank you. They asked me what I wanted my walk-on song to be, and I said Metallica, and so I actually got surprised by that. What an amazing video that Carlos and Romero put together to sort of summarize what our last year looked like. And you know, what an exciting city for us to be in and to police in. And it's amazing how much happened in that short, condensed period of time. And I will tell you that I'm just so proud to be the sheriff of the Las Vegas Metropolitan Police Department. The men and women of our organization, and really our entire first responder community, our firefighters and our EMS, they don't hesitate. They run to the danger to do something about the challenges that are in front of them every single time without a question. And so when you see one of my cops out there, make sure you thank them, please. I know there's a number of elected officials that showed up and they didn't give me a list. So those of you that are elected, I know the mayor's here for sure. I saw Commissioner Gibson as well. Anybody else? Where are we all at? I heard Brian Knutson was here, Cedric Creer is here, Olivia Diaz is here. Yes, thank you. You know, I'll tell you, one of the things that really sets our community apart here in Southern Nevada is that we have the support of our elected officials. And that is so critically important because in so many cities across the United States, elected officials turn their back on law enforcement when the going gets tough. Not here, not in this city. And I'm very appreciative of you all for having our backs as we move forward. Thank you very much. So I just want to start off by giving you a picture of what it looked like last year when I stood before you and I told you that I was going to work on a 10% across the board reduction in crime. And so when we go to look at violent crime as a total, that's 9.93% down in violent crime. Homicide offenses down 12%. What I want you to know about those homicide offenses, though, is that the homicide unit here in Southern Nevada at the Las Vegas Metropolitan Police Department truly is second to none. Right now, our solve rate, Nick's 92%. 92%. You commit homicide in our community, you are going to prison. And so many of these cities where you see the homicide rate so high, their solve rates are also down in the 30 and 40%. You come to Vegas, you're going to get caught, and we're going to relentlessly follow you if you commit an offense like that in our community. Sexual assault down 19.8. Ag assaults down almost 3.6. Robbery, one of the areas really proud of with this robbery was 19.4%. But as I went through all those numbers, again, we always talk about them as numbers, and I just want to remind you that there's a human being behind every one of those numbers. A human being. In the case of homicide, that was 162 homicides. In the case of fatalities, we'll talk about that here in a little bit, 158. People getting robbed and raped. I want you to think about how dramatically their lives are changed when they become a victim of a violent crime. This police department set about to doing something about it last year, and I'm really proud of those numbers. We weren't so great on property crime. However, there's one driver of all that, and we'll talk about that. This piece here on the larceny and theft, we were down 3%. I'll talk about that a little bit more here in a few slides as well. But that was an area that we were really losing the battle on. Our burglaries were down almost 8%. Look, you can talk about this as property crime, but if you've ever had your home burglarized, you know how it feels. Or in the case of one of my assistant sheriffs, her car got stolen twice this year. Right? It doesn't feel great. We joke with her about it, but it's you become a victim of a crime and you want the cops to do what it is that we're supposed to do, which is to find the individuals responsible for that. I guess I tried to go past that real fast. However, I am not. This is the area where we did not do well at all. In fact, I consider it to be a failure. And when I say that to you, auto theft, as you all know, you've heard me talk a little bit about this before during the year. We had a substantial increase due to our TikTok challenge, the Hyundai Kia challenge. And it's really across this great country of ours, certainly across this valley. The challenges that we all had. In fact, a couple of our area commands were up over 90% at one point during the year on the auto theft. And so that is one of the priorities as we move into the new year. So reducing it from 90 down to 36 was pretty good, but we got a long way to go to make sure that we have less victims who are getting their cars stolen day in and day out. One really bright spot, however, in the crime picture here, I want to just talk about for a second, and I don't know if Captain Steve Connell's here or not. Is he back there somewhere? Stand up, Steve. He and his team over at the Convention Center Area Command just did an unbelievable job over the last year in reducing crime. And I want you to think about this. This was after COVID. This was a period of time where we were experiencing a very high increase in crime on the Las Vegas Boulevard. And the strategies and tactics that group of individuals over there led their men and women to go have these dramatic results on the Strip. Congratulations, Steve. Many of you might not know I'm a bit of a taskmaster. So that's last year. It's not good enough for this year, right? So he got it pretty quick, and those are the results year to date right now in the Convention Center Area Command. After historic reductions, even better, and I'm extremely proud of you guys for the work that you're doing down there. You know, I saw there's a number of my Metro Multicultural Affairs Council folks here as well. Thank you all for the service that you provide to us. But this is one of the areas that we have historically had challenge with. You know, as many of you know, in 2010, we had 25 officer-involved shootings. We worked with Sheriff Gillespie at the time and the Department of Justice to come in and radically alter the way it is that we deal with these officer-involved shootings. And so while last year we had 14, we're down to 10. We're off to a rough start again this year with 2 already. And so we are going to continue to work with all of you, continue to listen to you, continue to take that feedback, but also, as importantly, to develop relationship in places that we don't have them, to reduce the fear, to increase the trust, to reduce the misunderstanding so that we can have alternative outcomes to fatal officer-involved shootings. Another area I'm really, really proud of, if Trish Cervantes is here. I don't know if she's out here somewhere. Trish, you and your HR team back there, stand up for me, would you? Because I'll tell you, we started, as you heard in that video, just absolutely remarkable work, folks. Well over 300 budgeted unfilled positions down. We had a dispatch center that was at about 50%. I gave them a challenge. I asked them to do something about it. I asked them, look, they're giving us the money to fill these positions, but we need to do it. But we can't step away from what it is that we have, which is high-quality individuals that are joining our organization. And you just delivered, Trish, you and your team. I'm very proud of you, and thank you so much. Here's a picture of that group. They don't get enough credit for all the work it is that they do. So we started off, and we had an event at the Resorts World where we processed people to actually take the written exam, the physical fitness exam, and a number of the other things that we could knock them out all very, very quickly. And unprecedented partnership with the Resorts World resulted in a significant number of hires for us as well. Again, going back to our cops. I always talk about our cops. We all know that we try to operate at that 2 officers per 1,000 level, our permanent resident level. When you're 300 before you even get started, it's hard to make a difference in crime fighting. And so we're going to end this year with just 100 vacancies. We were able to fill that gap of all those that continue to retire. And by the end of this next year, we will have every single one of those positions filled. And then I can honestly our dispatch center, this is another really, really bright place. Chief Gennaro, Chief Gennaro, Jose, as the captain over there, he and their teams went in there to a place that was, I would just basically use the word decimated, quite frankly. There was a lot of folks that didn't feel like we gave a damn about them. There were a lot of folks that realized that we allowed our working conditions to get to be a particular way, that we've allowed people to be treated a particular way, and so we decided to do something about it. And today, as you go down to the dispatch center, you will see a fully functioning, fully staffed communication center here at Metro that we have not had in many, many years. And I want to acknowledge, look, there were horror stories with this dispatch. 4-hour wait times. There were times that we were sitting in here screaming at one another over what was happening on how long it took to answer a 911 call, how long it took to answer a 311 call. And we had to do something about it. So we did. Stupid stuff, right? A snack bar. We put in a snack bar. Don't ask me, just lit the place up, right? If you look back here in the corner under that blue sign up there, there's an ice machine. Ask any dispatcher that works here about that ice machine. Have no clue why an ice machine was so important, but they wanted it, they demanded it, and we delivered it. Okay, we upgraded it. We got them some new, there's a coffee machine back there somewhere, it's kind of hard to see too. Some new furniture, turned up the lights a little. You hadn't seen that big smile in a long time, and we do now. And then also what we also did was we had a very large area that we still had to build out, that we didn't have the consoles. And so while I'm fully staffed, I didn't have the places to train. And so again, we had a very generous donor they came in and bought the rest of the build out for those consoles there in the dispatch center. And so we now have the capability to actually fully staff that place, and it's a remarkably different place. So if you haven't been down there, go check it out. Make sure you say thanks to Jose and Yaz and all the others that were down there working so hard to make a difference, because it really has changed it down there remarkably. You heard me talk a little bit last year that I wanted to be the most technologically advanced police department in the country. I still do. And we've had a number of people that, instead of going to our funders to ask for more money for technology projects that are expensive and slow to get when we go that process, been working with a number of folks out in the community who want to help their police department. They're stepping up to the table. Not only things like those consoles there, but our flock cameras and a number of other pieces of equipment that are helping us become more and more technologically advanced. Here's an example of that.
Location Watch 27, copy a 434 A shot spotter. 3704 El Conlin Avenue, 10 lots of 1, 4 rounds. And be advised, we just received a second alert just now at the same address.
Total of 7 rounds.
Fusion Watch 24.
Fusion Watch 24.
415A at 328. There's a white SUV. There's a passenger in the vehicle that basically stands up outside the vehicle and fires off a couple of rounds at the business. We're working on LPR getting a plate.
425A and fall 2, the Hyatt Liquor Valley View in El Conlin. 10 looks at 10, the PR said a suspect from a 415A from yesterday was inside the store. Permits at BMA 20, about heavy build with reds and gold tips.
Fusion Watch 26. I have a visual of that subject leaving that market. The subject that there's PC for. He's going to be walking northbound Valley View on the east side of the street.
Fusion Watch copy. You guys just rebroadcast suspect leaving the business, walking northbound Valley View on the east side of the street.
So they're pulling out. He's going to be right there on your right by the light pole.
Units, as you approach, just make sure you have roll to sign the plan in place, and we'll leave the lock available.
Fusion Watch 26. Subject's non-compliant. He's walking away from officers into the Marianas parking lot.
I'm ready for this, 425A.
Fusion Watch 26. Units are in foot pursuit, running east through the parking lot.
Control 1, call 28 TV, negative use 4. Subject did drop at 413 while he was running.
You know, what's remarkable about that video is it pretty much used almost all of the various different technologies that we have here today. And you know, there's always those that are going to question the technology and how we use it. We're an open door for you to see exactly how we use that. Those fusion cameras allowed us to stay off long enough to get multiple officers to respond there, which in years past, by the way, after a shot spotter notification, cops would run to it as fast as they could, have no information, in all likelihood that would have been an officer-involved shooting. Here, we had 3 officers that are already set up, planned, ready to go in there. We know he's going to run. We know he drops the gun. We know all of those things, and we're able to successfully take that individual into custody, who just hours before had fired 7 rounds in our neighborhoods. The other piece that's critically important for everybody in the room to know about that is that would have, in all likelihood, been an unsolved case. We probably would have never solved that case without the use of that technology. So when you're also talking about technology here is when you sit down there in that real-time crime center and the siren goes off, that's 1,592 more vehicles that were recovered because technology was able to detect it. That's people getting their property back. Fathers and mothers being able to get to work, take the kids to school. It's a pretty substantial increase year over year, right? 793 total arrests in that. It's pretty amazing work. Now, I've had a number of conversations with the other elected officials in both the county and the city in regards to this special events increase. You all know, everybody here is tired. We've all been working really, really hard. We've all been working really hard to make sure that Las Vegas is never put into the same spotlight we were during the 1 October event. And you know, that prevention piece of this and that staffing piece of this and that ability to execute a plan is so critically important to us. Unfortunately, we were reminded very quickly there after the Super Bowl of what can happen in these events by what happened in Kansas City. Terrible, terrible thing that happened there. A lot of people got hurt. We were prepared, and we're going to continue to be prepared for all of these things as they come up. F1, I think we're getting back for 3 more years for sure. It's the latest thing I saw. So I know they've hired Betsy Fretwell over there, and I know that thing's going to go a lot better this year than it did last year. So looking forward to that. We pull that New Year's Eve event off every single year. Most of us in the command structure don't sleep for weeks because we know what can happen in these types of events. But what makes you comfortable is that you know that the men and women of this organization are ready and they're prepared to act, and they always do. We don't have to worry about that for a couple more years coming back, so that might be the next sheriff. Traffic fatalities. This one has bothered me a lot this year, and there's a lot of different reasons for it. 158 people that we had to take off of our roadway that didn't make it. 158 families whose lives were going to be changed forever because of the driving behaviors of others on our roadways here in southern Nevada. We're up again this year, unless there was one that I missed this morning, that we're at number 30 already. Do the math. We're up again. We have a responsibility and an obligation to our community to do something about these fatalities. Now, I know that when I brought up red light cameras, there's a lot of folks that were like, whoa, what happened to this guy? He's for big government and intrusive surveillance. None of that is true. What I am is I'm tired of picking people up off the road. I'm tired of my men and women having to go out there and deal with broken and mangled bodies day in and day out. I'm sick and tired of the fact that the driving behaviors of people here in southern Nevada are as bad as they are. I'm tired of it. Now, there's controversies around red light cameras. I completely understand that. In fact, I've even read some studies that say the red light cameras cause more rear-end accidents because somebody trying to get through decides to stop. That's true, but you know what the study doesn't say? It doesn't say that those accidents are non-fatal accidents. And there's a big difference between a minor fender bender and somebody who loses their life because of excessive speed or going through cameras or going through red lights, which are 2 of the biggest causal factors of our fatalities in this town. And it's not just Vegas. By the way, those numbers are just me, Metro. That's not Jackie in North Las Vegas or out in Henderson, Mesquite, Boulder City, or anywhere else. That's just what my men and women do. We have to do something different. And I'm going to continue to push on, and I've been reached out by a number of folks from various different elected officials that want to support this. But I also think you have to do it responsibly. And so I'm going to advocate as much as I can to make sure that we have an opportunity for a limited deployment of these things. If we could pick the top 20 intersections where red lights are being run, let's see if it works to change the behavior. Let's see if it is that we can find it and it doesn't have a disparate impact on minorities like some studies say. If we can also see that maybe there's just this opportunity to cause people that are getting behind the wheel of a car to think differently about how it is that they drive. Culture takes a long time to change, folks. You all know that. And I don't think even if my funding bodies would give me 4 or 5 times the number of people that I have out there doing this work, that I would really be able to change it as much as this technology could do it at a far cheaper rate. Speed cameras is another option. I think we have to have reliable, real conversation at the adult level and take the emotion out of it to say, is there value in this technology to help change the driving behaviors here in southern Nevada? And let's all be honest. Let's just keep it here in the state of Nevada. How many of you ever go up to Reno or Carson City and drive? Probably pretty much everybody in the city, right? And how do you drive up there? you're not running red lights, and you're damn sure not speeding on the way between Carson and Reno, because there's cops everywhere, right? I see it. I go there. I go to my hometown in Colorado to visit my parents, and I'm the one that's driving way too fast. It's become part of our condition. It is what we do, and it is something that we have to change. I want to talk about human trafficking for a minute because, you know, when we bring all of these major events to this unbelievable city, there's also an underbelly of crime that comes with it. Like it or not, it attracts people to come where there's large crowds. It attracts people to do dumb things, right? And I just want to give you a snapshot of just what it looked like on the human trafficking piece, just between F1 and the Super Bowl, the work that our entire agency did, along with the FBI and a number of others, to go out there and dramatically impact the number of mostly young women that are being sex trafficked and the individuals that are out there preying on those individuals. Those bot arrests are an interesting piece of this. That simply is, we have a detective that's on having a chat with an individual that decides they're going to come over and pick up a kid, knowingly a kid, and do sex trafficking with them. And so, Nick, you and your teams have just done a remarkable job on this, and I appreciate that. When I was campaigning for sheriff, retail theft and construction theft was something that I got beat up on literally everywhere I went. If you went to talk to any of the trades, they talked about all the stuff being stolen from their job sites. If you talk to, when I went to the Organized Retail Crime Association, I came out of there a little bit bloody, quite frankly. Our felony threshold for theft is $1,250 here in Southern Nevada. That's higher than California. And when we went to speak to these individuals that are the heads of most of the, they're running the large corporations like Walmart and CVS, Home Depot, Lowe's, all of those. And resoundingly across the board, they told me that the retail theft here in Southern Nevada was worse than it was when they closed their stores in San Francisco. And I was shocked. Quite frankly, I was shocked. Because I'd been reading stories about California for so long, and then they're telling me that the city that I'm now in charge of is worse than that. So I set about to doing something about it, and we created a retail theft squad and a construction theft squad. And in a very short period of time, retail theft alone had 2,549 cases and got a total loss back of $5.4 million of stuff that had been sold or stolen. Short period of time. That's only since June that they started that. $5.5 million in stolen goods. Incredible work. Here's an example of it.
Get out of the way because it's going to lift. Oh my God. They flew out. They literally flew out. See if you can zoom in and get their license plate. Look at them just throwing shit in there. What, Mommy? Oh my God. Look at all the shit on the floor. Can you get their license plate? What, Mommy? Oh my God.
Happy to tell you they're in custody as well. You know, one of the things that they did that was very creative, however, was because they could steal up to $1,250 each. We do have a law in the books called comprehensive theft, and they'll go and they'll get the video from each one of these stores. And when you got 2 or 3 of these stores that these crews are going into and stealing, you can put the felony on them. And that's part of the way that they've been so successful. And it's just been remarkable work. Construction theft. This was another one I was just ignorant to, right? 477 cases, almost $4 million. And this is the stuff they steal regularly. In fact, while we were preparing this, I got a phone call from one of the individuals that owns a construction company, and he was looking for his, what was it, a backload? It was that one? Looking for that stuff that had just got stolen from his construction site, and we caught it just before it got across the border into California and recovered that for them. So another really, really great piece of work by those men and women, and they're doing fantastic stuff. Wellness, as you all know, this means a lot to me. When I see the challenges that our officers have day in and day out, when I see that we're at the top of divorce and alcoholism and all the other things that we don't want to be at the top at, and then we didn't have the wherewithal as leaders, myself included, for many years to stand up to so many of the negative impacts that we have, we decided to do something differently. And so Dr. James Tinney's right over here. Doc, would you stand up and say hi? Now leads a team of licensed clinical social workers to actually work with our first responders. And I am not giving up to continue to make sure that we focus in on all first responders here in Southern Nevada, to include police, fire, and EMS from all different agencies. But look at the dramatic impact in such a short period of time that just the men and women of Metro have done to take advantage of this wellness piece. You know, I've said before that if we take care of our officers better than we ever have, they're going to take care of this community better than we ever have. I believe that at the core of my being, and we're going to continue to do that. There's much more to come. Also, a lot of those same folks that were funding the technology, part of what we're doing is we're using a group called Behind the Blue that is helping to be our nonprofit specifically for wellness. They're raising a lot of money. There's a big event coming up here very quickly. We'll make sure we get the information out to you, but the desire is that we help our officers when we're not necessarily able to help them either through a workers' comp process or through Injured Police Officers Fund, that gap where it doesn't exist, that there's actually help for them. You know, this injecting humanity thing, when I used it last year, I know that there was a little bit of ribbon that happened to me as we went along. And I said, okay, we're going to inject humanity. Yeah, right. Well, you know what? You can't argue with the results. That's not because we put more people in jail and filled the jail up. Those reductions are because we went out and we developed those relationships. We went out and engaged different people in the community to help us. We also were relentless in our follow-up, just like we had a shooting of a very prominent gang member in West Las Vegas just the other day, and within 2 days, the guns and the suspects were all wrapped up from initially a whodunit. That's exceptional police work, and I'm really proud of them. And so as we continue this effort throughout this next year, we're going to double down on this. We're going to continue to go out and find ways of getting into our communities, into places that maybe don't necessarily want us, that maybe necessarily don't believe us because of our past actions, but we're going to continue to find ways to make a substantial difference.
The suspect ran from the scene near Foundation's preschool, less than half a mile away. He jumped the wall near the daycare, dropping his gun. A toddler at the school picked it up and shot themselves accidentally.
I'd like to thank the quick actions of the patrol officers in the area who were able to respond quickly and apprehend the suspect, but more importantly, provide critical life-saving measures for that toddler. Today is really a celebration. Unfortunately, about a month ago, there was an incident where a fleeing suspect hopped the wall of a daycare and discarded a firearm, and a 2-year-old little girl found it, and the firearm went off, injuring her gravely. And the quick actions from the first responders that day in police and fire, they were able to render some life-saving medical aid, and we were able to get the little girl to the hospital, and here we are a month later, and this young, resilient girl has made a miraculous recovery. I know that you probably didn't even know that you're being super brave. You're more scared of me than you were of the events of that day. But here, I'm going to come over and give this to you with these officers, all right? This event was being held, it's put on by the Northeast Area Command officers to show this little girl our appreciation and her accomplishment. We presented her with an award, a plaque, for her being a survivor, her resiliency in getting over this entire incident, as well as providing her siblings with plaques as well, to being survivors and to being there for their sibling while she was going through this process. We're just really excited to be able to bring the community together, and if you see We have every single agency's here, from the fire department, city police, North Las Vegas, and our own very own Metro police officers. And they've adopted this little girl because no one should ever have to go through that. It really warms my heart to see this 2-year-old girl that went through such adversity a month later to be running around, and she's playing with the dog that's out here, our canine dogs. They just took a ride in a fire truck around the block. To be that resilient and really running around after that incident happened, it just shows you how tough these kids can be. And she just has that survivor spirit, and thoughts and prayers to her and her family for the miraculous recovery that she's made.
All right, that moves us into this uniform there. It's a huge topic at Metro these days. So I wanted to show you some of where we had come from there, the old city uniform, old county stuff. I don't know who that guy is. It's kind of that one. And now we get here. So, look, I don't love the pants either, folks. I'm going to tell you the truth, right? They're what we have now. But I do want you to know something about this uniform. I'm really proud to wear this uniform. This will be our dress uniform as we move forward. That shirt is going to go to this color. We're in the process of moving away from this is a winter shirt, so we're actually having it made with the summer material. So it'll go back to a contrast between the two. So just bear with me a little bit. Shouldn't be as long to get to the other color because I don't have to go out for bid. It's the same company, blah, blah, blah. A lot of stuff you don't want to be bored with why it takes so long and costs so much to do. But anyway, I thought that was pretty good. I do want to finish, however, and just say a couple of things really, really quickly. One is I'm sorry I didn't get to see who everybody came in, but as I'm standing here on the stage, I see a number of folks from the PPA as well as PMSA. I don't know if Carla's here from PPACE. Okay, PPACE is over there. Thank you all as well. I know that my people are your people, and we've had a really, really good year in moving forward. I'm looking forward to continuing to work with all of you as we move forward, so thank you all very much. The other one is there's some really, really special people from MMAC here. Instead of me calling out everybody out, can y'all just please stand for a minute? That means you, Guzman. These are the folks that really, thank you very much. These are the folks that really help keep Metro honest, no matter what it is that we do. And so I'm very, very grateful to all of you as well. You know, I would be remiss if my Undersheriff Andy Walsh, would you stand, and Chief Admin Officer James Kilber, and then all of my executive staff, please. I know you guys all don't know this, but I demand a lot from them. It's not easy to work for me. I just do not accept mediocrity ever, and it's a tough thing to work on that staff, and you two leading it, I'm extremely grateful to have you as partners and all of you as member of my staff, so thank you very much. And then I know there was Jackie from North Las Vegas Police and Jason from the U.S. Attorney. Appreciate you both being here and your partnerships as we move forward. It's great, great folks to work with. I don't know if I saw FBI or not, but no, all right. The last thing I just say is, you know, when you get elected as a sheriff, last year we started off, you might have saw that video that said 11 homicides in 11 days. I was wondering if I'd taken the right job, to be very frank with you. I'm like, what in the hell is going on here, right? And then, if you remember in that video, it sort of flashed forward to December 1st. And December was one hell of a month for us. We're just coming off of F1. We have 5 people that are unhoused, that are shot, several of whom died, which would have, in any other city, have gone as an unsolved homicide, guaranteed. Not here. They solved that case. They were tenacious. The homicide section was fantastic in what it is that they do. Really, really proud of the effort that they have there. And then, that's not enough. So just a couple days later, a man kills his wife and 3 children up in the northwest part of our valley. And we have New Year's Eve. And while you did not see anything about the Super Bowl on here, we pulled that Super Bowl off as well as anybody could ever pull that Super Bowl off. And so I'm really proud of all of you. But when it starts to rain on you, as the sheriff, there's very few people you can rely on, and one of which is my wife, Kelly. Thank you very much. And of course, my children who are a rock for me. I really love all of you. Thank you very much. I appreciate you. And I'll finally just say this, is we're going to have another trying year. We're going to be tested in a lot of ways that maybe we haven't been tested in. There's not a doubt in my mind, not one single doubt in my mind that we're going to be successful. And as you walk out of here tonight, do me a favor. Shake one of these cops' hands. Say thanks to the SWAT team for keeping us safe and secure. And what an amazing venue the Sphere provided for us. I can't thank them enough for this. We really appreciate that. And I just want to say thank you to every last one of you. God bless you. God bless this great profession, and God bless the United States of America. Thank you.